Now available. Paperback and Kindle Unlimited. ISIS, the main event. It's carnage inside of a steel cage when the goddess next door steps in the squared circle with the beast from the boss in this action-packed all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS, the main event, paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. One of my viewers asked me to make an advice video for women who wanted to stop their men from simping. And for most of those women, all I can do is tell them to head over to Amazon.com and pick up my book, Stop Simpin', Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, and hand it to their boyfriend or spouse, because that's the only way they can learn how to stop simping once they are older. Now, usually in most cases, most boys learn how to stop simping because it's a part of their natural development. Now, almost every boy out here is going to have a simp phase, and usually that simp phase starts when they are in their tween years or their teen years, and they don't really understand how to court the opposite sex. And as they are learning how to court the opposite sex, they are learning about what not to do. And this is during the tween years and teen years that they oftentimes make these mistakes. And as they make these mistakes with young girls that they are trying to pursue and get the attention of, they learn what doesn't work, and they eventually learn to stop simping, usually in their later teen years, whether it be from 16 to about 19, and usually most later bloomers learn to stop simping around 20 or 21. But there are some men out here who have a state of arrested development, and usually it's these guys who wind up becoming these older simps who go on into their adult years participating in the simp paradigm. And it's usually these guys who usually are very difficult to deal with because they are hard invested in this simp paradigm, because they believe it allows them to get results and it allows them to get the attention and approval of women. And because they are getting the attention and approval of those women, that's why these men continue to participate in this simp paradigm. So there's not really much anybody can do for these guys, because usually they are usually set in their ways, and they believe that because they are getting some scraps from the table from female predators, that they are actually achieving some sort of success. And usually these guys are simping in their older age, primarily because many of these males came from usually a female-headed household run by a single mother, and they're used to submitting to female authority figures. And because there was no father in the home to teach him the male life skill of how to have a relationship with a woman or model a relationship with a woman like his mother, this is why he's going out here and simping, and believes that submitting and deferring to women is something positive, but in actuality, it is something that most women just don't like. And the reason why most women don't like simps is because your simp is a man who is in a submissive position under the woman, and he is expecting the woman to go out here and be the leader in the relationship. And most healthy women do not want to be the leader in the relationship. They want the man to be the leader in the relationship, and they want the man to set a tone for the relationship, set a direction for the relationship, because those roles show her that this man will be able to be a strong protector, an able provider, and someone who will provide her with not only fiscal security, but emotional security. And this is something that the simp really doesn't understand, is that because women are emotional, they want that security, not just financially, but they want that emotional security. And that emotional security is them knowing that they're going to be safe with this man, knowing that they can trust this man, and knowing they can confide in that man, and knowing that no matter what happens, whether it be better or for worse, richer or for poorer, sickness and in health, this man will be there, and this man will be strong and stand strong with her. And that's what gives that woman that emotional security and allows her to feel that sense of safety. And that's something most women, want from a man, but they can't get that from a simp, because when it comes down to your simp, he's looking for the woman to provide him with security, and that's because he's used to submitting to female authority figures, and he's looking for female authority figures to meet his needs. And that's why most women have a problem with most simps, because most simps don't really understand their role as a man. And the main reason why they don't understand their role as a man is because they don't have a father in their life to usually teach them these male life skills or model a positive example of manhood for them. So they think everything is about trying to please the woman, and they want to please the woman because they want the woman to be the authority figure in the relationship. Moreover, in some cases, they want the woman to be like this mother figure to them, and they want to have this codependent relationship with this woman in their life. But most women want an interdependent relationship with their boyfriends or their husbands, because they want to be able to work with that man towards building something as related to a home and a family, and they want that man to be someone who can be a leader and a head of household. But it's hard to do that with a simp, because he has grown up learning this dysfunctional paradigm where he believes that if he goes out here and submits and defers to women, he will get his needs met. But what happens usually is that most of the people he gets involved with are predators, and those predators are usually interested in taking advantage of him in order to get resources out of him. And then once they get what they want out of him, they usually drop him on the corner, bitter and broke, and leave him for the next predator to make soup out of his bones. But when I listened to this young lady who sent me this request, it sounds like she's had an issue with a simp, or she's involved with a simp, and she wants this man to grow up and become a man. And this is going to be, sadly, the only thing that can be done is for this woman to get this man a book like Stop Simpin', Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, and a book like The Man Crisis, and have them read those books, along with books like Dr. Robert Glover's No More Mr. Nice Guy, because that's the only way we can break the simp paradigm, is by him learning to acknowledge the problem and trying to work towards moving himself forward. But if this simp, usually in most cases, doesn't want to do this, because this is the big problem with a lot of these simps, because they don't want to break out of this paradigm, because a lot of times these simps, they're used to you're used to codependency, they're used to having an emotional hose to attach to a woman, and they're used to playing the victim role, and they don't really want to take that responsibility as a man, because they're afraid if they take that responsibility, it means that they have to come out of what they know and come into something different. Because a lot of these guys, they're really scared of getting close to a woman emotionally, mentally, and physically, outside of physically, and because they're insecure, it's really hard for these men to break out of this simp paradigm. So I understand what's going on here, because a lot of women, they're frustrated when they deal with a simp, because usually all he's thinking about is giving this woman all of this money. But what happens is that there's an emotional wall between that man and that woman, because usually when there's a simp around, he does not know how to connect with a woman outside of giving her this money and giving her this overabundance of attention. And he does not understand that, again, women want to get this emotional security. They want to form a connection. They want to form a bond. And it's hard to have a bond with a simp, because the simp is a very shallow man, and all he thinks about is getting the attention and approval of a woman, but never thinks about trying to build something substantive as related to a relationship. So again, the only way to stop a man from simping is, again, to get him these books and hope he reads them, because this is all part of his personal development. This is something he needs to do for himself, and he's got to acknowledge this problem, and he's got to deal with this problem on his own, because that's the only way he's going to grow and move forward, is by acknowledging he has a problem. And if he truly loves a woman, he's going to go out here and start making efforts to break out of this paradigm, because he's going to want to get closer to that woman. But in many cases, again, this is all on him, and it's all about him looking to move out of that state of arrested development and move forward to become a man, and the kind of man who can grow closer to a woman and have a fulfilling and satisfying relationship. Now, if you want to break out of the simp paradigm, you can pick up my book, Stop Simpin', Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, on Amazon.com in Kindle and paperback. And if you want to learn why men become these simps and beta males, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com as well. And if you want to request a video, you can donate to my Patreon or my PayPal or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Shawn, the man with nothing to lose. The man who rules the world runs into the irresistible force of a man with nothing to lose in this action-packed, all-new Shawn series adventure. Get the regular and variant editions of Shawn, the man with nothing to lose, on Amazon.com today.